Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres postgame show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
3-2. Suarez delivers. Luck swings and misses. Strike three. Suarez and the Padres have beat LA, and they take a 2-1 lead in the National League Division Series.
The Padres take command in this NLDS here in 2024. The final score in Game 3 on a great night at Petco Park. The Padres 6 and the Dodgers 5. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Welcome into our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. The Padres scoring 6 runs in the second inning, and between Michael King and just outstanding bullpen work here tonight from the San Diego Padres, they made those 6 runs stand up. The Dodgers getting a grand slam from Teoscar Hernandez in the top half of the third. That would be the final runs scored in this game. The Padres bullpen between Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, Robert Suarez, combining for 4 scoreless innings out of the pen, just 1 hit given up. And Robert Suarez, after a second half that was rocky, that was up and down, that was shaky, well, he got his first big-time save chance here tonight. 4-out save. Mike Shildt asking him to do a little bit more, and man, did he deliver a 1-2-3 9th inning to boot. And the Padres win Game 3. They take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 series, and now an opportunity to make it a little deja vu for the Dodgers. You think about 2022 when the Padres won the second game in L.A., came back home to San Diego. Excuse me as I catch my breath after running up here. Came back home to San Diego and won the 2 games here at home. The series never got back to L.A. The Padres now have an opportunity to once again do that tomorrow night here at Petco Park. We'll get into tomorrow's game. We'll get into the pitching situation for both teams tomorrow. But here tonight, the Padres take control of this series with a 6-5 win. There's a lot to discuss. If you would have told me after that grand slam by Teoscar Hernandez in the top of the third that this game would end 6-5, I would have said no way. In fact, I would have said even in the later innings, there was probably little chance the Padres were going to win this game with 6 runs. But when A.J. Preller, and I'm going to take it way back here, when A.J. Preller made the moves he did at the trade deadline to acquire Jason Adam, to acquire Tanner Scott, not only did that bring that level of talent into this bullpen, but it also lengthened the bullpen. And he made that move for nights like tonight. Be rest assured, nights like tonight, a 1-run game, Michael King battling through 5 innings, and then the Padres, because of the guys they have in that pen, were able to flip it to that pen starting in the 6th inning. And between Estrada and Adam and Scott and Suarez, they got it done. Didn't allow a run at one point in this game between Michael King from the second out of the third until a 2-out single in the 8th inning. The Padres retired 16 Dodgers in a row, and they made that 6-run second inning stand up. It was an electric second inning. The Padres offense never got another run. They were very, very quiet the rest of the game, and you just wondered throughout the night if the Padres could make that 6-run inning stand up. And my goodness, they did it here tonight. The Padres win it 6-5 in Game 3. They have a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 series. When we return, we'll hear from David Peralta. I just spoke with David down on the field. He had a big 2-run double in that 6-run second inning. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. We've got plenty of post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse, inside the interview room, as the Padres take Game 3, 6-5. Our post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the lofts here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres take Game 3 of the National League Division Series. The final score here tonight, the Padres 6 and the Dodgers 5. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park as we continue our post-game coverage. We have a lot to do, and I mean a lot to do. We'll get into the radio highlights, recap this game from start to finish in just a moment. We'll also hear from David Peralta. I just spoke with David down on the field. We're going to have additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. We're also going to hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. So we are just getting started on our post-game coverage. If you're on the way home from the game, maybe you're just getting into your car, maybe you were watching the game, now flipping over to our local radio post-game coverage. Like I've said throughout the first week of the postseason here, this is the place to be for post-game coverage. You will not get this type of extensive coverage and hear from the type of people we hear from anywhere else. So stick with us throughout the postseason. The Padres are now one win away from booking a ticket to the National League Championship Series as they take Game 3 6-5. This was a really interesting game for a number of reasons. What happened really early, and then it became about what wasn't happening late and what the Padres bullpen had to do late in this game. Let's recap this one from start to finish. Well, there are some games that have a very sleepy first few innings. This was not one of them. Let's begin in the top of the first inning. Michael King struck out Shohei Ohtani to begin the night, but then it was Mookie Betts. Jesse was spot on. It was nearly the same spot of the ballpark where Profar robbed Betts of a home run in Dodger Stadium in Game 2, but this time he couldn't quite grab it. It hit his glove. The Dodgers led 1-0. In fact, Mookie was fooled again. He thought Profar had it. He started running back towards his dugout, and then he realized that Profar didn't make the catch. The umpires finally signaled home run. It was a home run for Mookie Betts. It was 1-0 L.A. Walker Buehler took the mound for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the first inning. He pitched a 1-2-3 frame. Michael King did the same in the top of the second. That brought us to the bottom half of the second inning. Manny Machado led off with a single. Then Jackson Merrill hit a ground ball to the right side. Freddie Freeman's throw to second base hit Manny and rolled into left field. Manny went to third. That was a throwing error on Freddie Freeman. So the Padres had runners on first and third for Xander Bogaerts. So that was a 1-1 game. Bogaerts an RBI fielder's choice. Padres, though, were far from done. David Peralta dug in.
Everybody in the building waves their golden towels.
This place was going absolutely wild. Peralta went to third base on a Jake Cronenworth infield single. Kyle Higashioka drove Peralta in with a sac fly to center field. That made it a 4-1 Padre lead. That was the first out of the inning. With Cronenworth still on first base and 2 down, El Nino capped the rally.
Here's the 0-2. And Tatis sends it in the air. Deep to left field. Hernandez is back. Looking up. Gonna go! 2-run homer, Fernando Tatis Jr. And it is a 6-run second inning.
So the Padres had a 6-run second inning. Fernando's 4th home run of this series already. They sent 10 batters to the plate and had a 6-1 lead heading to the third. Michael King, who had to sit down for a while as that inning unfolded, he got in trouble. 3 straight singles to begin the frame from Miguel Rojas, Ohtani, and Betts. There was 1 out and the bases still loaded. Teoscar Hernandez at the plate for L.A.
Here's the 1-2. And Hernandez swings, sends it in the air to deep center field. Merrill's going back, tracking it on the warning track. He is at the wall, leaps up, it's going to go. A grand slam for Teoscar Hernandez, who basically walked halfway up the first baseline, now into his trot, and we got ourselves a ball game here at Petco. Hernandez, first home run of the postseason, and a 1-run game here in the third.
Yeah, Hernandez seemed to know that it was going to go out. It seemed to be pretty close. Jackson Merrill going all the way back to the warning track, to the wall. He ran out of room. A grand slam for Hernandez. And just like that, a 6-1 game became a 6-5 Padre lead. So through 2.5 innings in this game, we had a combined 11 runs scored on 10 hits. Then the game started to settle down, and settled down in a way that I don't know you could have expected. Buehler pitched the scoreless 3rd and 4th inning. King pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 4th inning. He did the same in the 5th. The Padres put 2 on with 2 out against Buehler in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They did not score. King went 5 innings. Jeremiah Estrada came on for the top of the 6th. The Padres still leading by 1. Estrada struck out the first 2 batters. He got a ground out from Will Smith to end the inning. Anthony Banda then tossed a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 6th inning for the Dodgers. Padres still led just 6-5. Going to the 7th inning, Jason Adam pitched a 1-2-3 inning against the bottom of the Dodger lineup. Anthony Banda and Daniel Hudson combined for a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 7th inning. So both bullpens doing an excellent job. Still the Padres up by just 1 run at 6-5. But then we went to the 8th inning. The Padres still ahead by 1. Tanner Scott came in to face Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. First up was Ohtani.
Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman here in the 8th. The 2-2 pitch taken on the outside corner. Strike 3 called, and Tanner Scott strikes out Ohtani for the 3rd consecutive game.
Mookie Betts flew out to center. Freddie Freeman singled. Chris Taylor pinch ran for Freeman, who is dealing with that right ankle sprain. With the right-handed hitting, Teoscar Hernandez coming up. Mike Shildt went to Robert Suarez. So again, the situation, Padres leading 6-5. The tying run on first base in Taylor. The go-ahead run at the plate in Hernandez, who had already hit a grand slam earlier in the game. It was Suarez against Hernandez.
Padres lead by 1. The 2-2 from Suarez swung on, popped up. Arise coming down the line from first on the grass cutout about halfway to home. He makes the catch, and the inning is over.
And that was that. More excellent work by the Padres bullpen. Padres went down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So the Padres, after leading 6-5 after 2.5 innings here tonight, well, they were trying to win it 6-5. Robert Suarez came on, trying to complete what would be a 4-out save. He faced Max Muncy. He struck him out. He faced Will Smith. Smith grounded out. 2 outs, nobody on. Gavin Lux, the final chance for L.A., also representing the tying run.
3-2. Suarez delivers. Lux swings and misses. Strike 3. Suarez and the Padres have beat L.A., and they take a 2-1 lead in the National League Division Series.
And that was that here tonight. The Padres win Game 3. The final score, Padres 6 and the Dodgers 5. 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors for San Diego. L.A. 5 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Michael King, how about this? Even after giving up the grand slam to make it a 1-run game in the 3rd, he got the win, his second of the postseason. Walker Buehler got through 5 innings. He just gave up 6 in the 2nd inning. He took the loss, and what a well-earned save for Robert Suarez. A 4-out save, his 2nd of this 2024 postseason. 47,744 in the building here tonight. A new Petco Park record. They were rocking in the second inning, and they were hoping this bullpen could hold on, and they certainly did as the Padres win a one-run game here in Game 3, the final 6-5 over the LA Dodgers. David Peralta, really nice night. The 2-run double, scored a run as part of that 6-run second inning. I caught up with Peralta on the field right after this Game 3 win. David, you had the 2-run double as part of that big second inning. What was the key to getting to Walker Buehler in that inning?
Well, you know, we were trying to be patient and attack him the same way. He was throwing a lot of fastball. I'll miss a couple fastball early in the count, and then I just told myself to calm down and trying to get it short and quick, and I put a good swing in, and I got the double to help the team to win.
You scored the 6 runs early, and then the bullpen had to hold on. How would you describe the job that bullpen did here tonight?
We got the best bullpen in the league. They've been doing the whole year, and this is all about we're a team. We're doing this together. And thanks to the bullpen to come and shut down the team because they have a pretty good lineup too, but we're better today.
Best of 5 series. A Game 3 is always really important. How critical was this win heading into tomorrow?
Hey, this is a big win for us. It's a big win, and we're going to come the same way tomorrow with the same energy, with the same attitude, and we're going to do the same thing.
Finally, David, a sold-out crowd. This place was rocking. What was the experience like playing here tonight?
Man, it's always good to be home, to be back home. And the fans came and brought the energy. And, I mean, we couldn't have done it without the fans. And so it's going to be the same thing tomorrow.
David, great win, great moments for you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
That was David Peralta. What a series Peralta's had. You think about it. The 2-run home run in the second inning in Game 2 gave the Padres a 3-0 lead. A 2-run double in the second inning here in Game 3 to give the Padres a 3-1 lead. Very, very impactful performances from David Peralta. What more can you say about the freight train? And a big thank you to Peralta for joining us post-game as the Padres win Game 3 6-5. When we return, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We've got a lot of post-game audio to play you. We will go back inside the Padres clubhouse, hear from various players after this 6-5 win. But when we return, first thing we'll do is hear from the Padres skipper. The Padres win Game 3 of this 2024 National League Division Series. They have taken a 2-1 lead over the LA Dodgers. Now the Padres an opportunity to win this best-of-5 series tomorrow to make sure that we're not going back to LA. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But for now, we talk about a really good win here tonight. 6-5 over the Dodgers in Game 3. Post-game coverage continues from Petco Park after this on the Padres Radio Network. We are live here at Petco Park. The Padres win Game 3 of this 2024 NLDS by a final score of 6-5. Sam Levitt back with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. The building has emptied out, but man, was it rocking here tonight. 47,000 plus in the building, 47,744 to be exact. A new Petco Park record, waving those gold rally towels. They had a lot to cheer about. The 6-run second inning, and then just a marvelous job by the Padres bullpen here tonight between Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, Robert Suarez. 4 scoreless innings, 1 hit given up between the 4 relievers, Estrada, Adam, Scott, and Suarez. And we'll talk more about Michael King, because really, aside from a span of 5 batters after he had to sit around for that long bottom half of the second, aside from that, King was good tonight, and you look at it, the way he was able to settle things down after that grand slam and really start the run of great pitching for the Padres tonight, that's an enormous deal in this game. We'll get deeper into it a little bit later in our post-game show, but between what Michael King did after the grand slam, what the bullpen did, yes, the Padres offense didn't score again after the second inning. You would have liked them to score a little bit more. In fact, there were times in this game late, as it's getting later and later, where I'll be honest with you, I thought to myself, I don't know that 6 runs for the Padres is going to win this game. But like I said in the opening segment, if you want to bring it back to the summer, when A.J. Preller made those moves to fortify this bullpen, to strengthen this bullpen, it was this kind of situation that I would imagine he had in mind. This kind of spot, playoffs, 1-run lead, shortening a game, and saying, hey, it don't matter if we add on or not. Good luck getting to our pen. And that played out here tonight. You saw the power of the Padres bullpen tonight. We saw it very often in the second half of the season. It was on full display in this 6-5 win here in Game 3. Let's go into the interview room here at Petco Park and hear post-game reaction from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Knock this one out of the way, Mike. What can you tell us about pitching plans for tomorrow?
That was a good win, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Okay, good. Dylan Cease will start.
Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
What led you to that decision on short rest?
Dylan's, willingness to do it. He would be on regular rest if needed, but Dylan's ready to go, and we'll see how many bullets he's got, but had his head around it and discussed it with him, and he was enthusiastic about it.
The second inning, built on contact. We've seen that all year. Can you kind of just walk us through what you saw there?
I saw, our team identity on display. A lot of what we talk about, offensive machine. The base running is a part of that. You get Jackson hustling on Bogey's ball, and you get Peralta's ball down the line. You got Jake with a 2-strike opposite field knock to get it going. Higgy with the sac fly. And then you got Toddy that does the damage. So you get a little bit of everything that inning. But the effort level on the bases was great. And the 2-strike hitting was good. Even after Toddy's 2-run homer, 2-strike at bat, just going down the line and hitting that front part of the bag and being saved by an eyelash. So it was a lot of who our identity is and big part of the game, big 6 spot.
Go to Russell in the 3rd row on the right.
Mike, a lot had happened over the last 48 hours leading up to this game, and it seems like all series it's been the response of your team that's been the big thing.
Yeah.
Once you're in between those lines and you see what they were able to do tonight, what kind of pride does that give you after everything leading up to this point?
Yeah, you know what? I really just appreciate this group, the way they compete, the way they carry themselves. Just love it's a good ball game. They showed up, and it was just nice to actually, first pitch be thrown, and we're just playing baseball. So that was great, and great atmosphere in Petco tonight. Crowd was phenomenal. clearly, I thought a difference maker and a part of what we were doing tonight, and we felt them, so that was great. But the guys came out and just played baseball and executed, and that was, always pleased to see that. Proud of this group, love them.
Go to Clinton.
They're considering. I was going to ask you more about that crowd factor, considering what you came off of from Dodger Stadium and that sort of interesting interaction. How did you guys? Was there any discussion about what this is going to feel like coming from one place to another? In terms of that?
Well, we're familiar with both places, and we're love our home crowd. This has been a group that our fan base is unbelievable. They're starting to travel more. They're starting to spread out through the entire country. We're going to places all over the country. We were in Tampa, and there were a lot of fans, and I had a buddy in town, and he's like, man, you guys travel well. I said, these are just local Padre fans. So that's super cool that our Padre Nation is spreading like that. Home field's been tremendous for us all year. They've been behind us. They're loud. They're passionate. They're enthusiastic. They're hungry. So we knew they'd bring it tonight, and bring it they did. And it was, it was just good, clean, fun.
Go to Steve in the second row.
I have two questions. First one,
Yes.
Do you understand this base running rule? I'm not clear on it because Manny ran onto the grass.
Yep.
Dave did not appeal it. I don't know if you could appeal it. What are you allowed to do and what are you not allowed to do, as far as you know?
Yeah, I know. I understand it pretty clearly. And it's a teach of ours. It's teaching the game. We don't go into the market on this thing, but really, really good baseball play. Didn't bring it up by Manny. Basically, the base runner can create his own baseline until there's an actual play, an attempted play on him. So at that point, you can run inside the line just like he did and force a throw to be like it is. You can do it from any base. As soon as a fielder has to make an attempt to a play, now the baseline's been established, and then you can go from there.
Okay, the other question I wanted to ask, more substantive. Can you talk about the confidence of this team and the fact that you don't want to be overconfident when you have the game to wrap it up on your side?
Yeah, no, we it's good to get two, but it's not it doesn't matter until we get three. But overconfidence is not. Confidence is a part of this group. I love the fact they play with some confidence, a lot of confidence, some swag. I like the fact that they're themselves, but they're respectful and do it in a team setting. But this team stays grounded and focused, and I'm confident that'll only continue. Yes, sir.
Mark over here in the front on the left.
You obviously used your big guys for the bullpen to close the game, especially the 4-out save with Suarez. How big was that, and just how much are those guys going to be ready for tomorrow to come back again on next day?
Great job by all of them. Michael was good. Him getting through 5 was impressive. He's able to come back and overcome the crooked number in the 3rd and grab the 4th and navigate the top of the lineup in the 5th. And I just love the efficiency of our relievers today. Strada really good, Adam really good. Scott threw the ball exceptionally well. Just preferred the Suarez-Hernandez matchup. And Suarez was excellent. I love the changeups he's throwing to Muncy and Lux, putting that on display. So he continues to do that, makes him a very, very effective guy, even more effective. Relative to their availability, we got a really solid, the residual effort from Darvish, giving us 7 innings, and then us being able to add on and score. Your best bullpen is sometimes your starters, and you're being able to extend the lead. So the highest, the high leverage guy we used, 2 nights ago was Scott. So basically now these guys are, Suarez is the first time he's pitched all series. He'll be ready to rock. All of them be ready to go.
Go to Jeff on the left.
Can I get you just to drill down a little bit on the Suarez decision, the matchup in particular that you liked, the number that you liked, and just the confidence you had in him? Because he did wobble toward the end of the year, but your confidence never wavered.
Yeah, if you pitch over a long season, you're going to have days where that doesn't work out. And but I trust our guys, and he's been really good. I think he's the last 5 times out, he's 5 up, 5 down. I say it's just like him a little bit better. Scott's throwing the ball really well. It's a beautiful luxury of this. What we have is, Adams really good against lefties, so every lane's a lane for him. They're in the lineup. Strada's good against lefties. Just felt good about that matchup with Suarez and Hernandez.
What was Machado dealing with in that 8th inning?
I think he just got a little twinge, and I want to say in his calf, but nobody thinks it's overly serious. But I just got off the field, so we'll figure it out.
And then for where Peralta started this year, for him to have the moment on Saturday or Sunday, and then today, I mean, what can you say about what he's done for this team?
Yeah, a lot went on Sunday, so he was an unsung hero that got overlooked by myself, and didn't give him. It was a big swing he took the other day, the 2-run homer and 2-run double today. He opened up both games, so he's been tremendous for us. Obviously, in Toddy's absence, he was a big part of what got us here. So he's done a great job. Without David Peralta, I'd shudder to think where we are, and he's continues to perform.
We'll take one last one. 4th row on the right.
Mike, Tatis with another home run today. His postseason numbers are incredible. What makes him so uniquely excellent in these big moments?
He likes it. He's one of the many guys on our team that appreciates and enjoys bright lights and embraces it. And so, he just wants to go play and perform. And the thing I love about him and everybody else is just how they're just going and competing. He's not trying to do too much. He's got plenty of talent. He's just allowing his talent to play, and I just love the way he's going about it.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this Game 3 win for the Padres, 6-5 against the LA Dodgers. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we wrap this one up, continue our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Michael King, go inside the Padres clubhouse here in just a second. We'll talk about his outing in a moment. Obviously, a lot of good stuff there for Mike and a lot to chew on as far as this game and the bullpen and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, the most interesting thing that was said there was at the very start, which is that Dylan Cease is pitching tomorrow on 3 days rest. Now, this is interesting. Dylan has never done that in the major leagues, pitch on 3 days rest. It's an aggressive move by the Padres. Doesn't mean it's a bad move by the Padres, but it is an aggressive move up 2-1 to pitch Dylan Cease tomorrow. But maybe the thinking is Cease feels good. He's ready to go. I'm going to read a quote here from AJ Casvell on Twitter. Great Padres beat reporter for MLB.com. Quote from Cease: "I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've never done it, but that doesn't really mean anything to me. Doesn't mean I can't do it." And Cease threw only 82 pitches on Saturday, so it's not like he threw 100-plus pitches. It's an aggressive move, but keep in mind, and I have to kind of go through the series here and go through the off day and see let's talk it out here for a second before we hear from King. Darvish pitched on Sunday, so let's say there was a Game 5 on Friday. You would be on regular rest. So you'd still have you on regular rest for Game 5, potential Game 5 on Friday. It's a little aggressive, but I do get it. Look, you've got an opportunity here to put your foot down on this series tomorrow here at home. And I kind of get it if, with the off day you'd have you, and if Cease wants to do it and he feels good enough to do it, hey, this is October. You do things that you don't do during the regular season. And, I highly doubt the Padres would pitch Dylan Cease tomorrow if he's not fully on board with this, because it's aggressive. It's an aggressive move. But, hey, when you say you lead a series in a best-of-5, it's only 2-1. You don't pitch Cease tomorrow and Martin Perez doesn't do well or the bullpen doesn't do well, whatever it might be. All of a sudden, you're facing elimination at the end of the week on Friday. So it's an aggressive move, but potentially a very good move and smart move by the Padres. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but Dylan Cease will pitch on 3 days rest tomorrow in Game 4 for the Padres. Now let's talk a little bit about Michael King before we hear from him. King had an interesting outing. Gives up the home runs of bets that Profar nearly robs again in the first inning. Okay, no big deal, really. I understand first inning, you don't want to fall behind, but solo home runs to that part of the order, okay, no big deal. Padres score 6 runs in the second. I don't know what the time was of that bottom of the second inning, but it was long by minutes. It was a long inning, and Michael King had to sit around, and we'll see if he talks about it here, if he addresses kind of that part of it. He had to sit in the dugout for a while and then came out for the third and gives up a single to Rojas and a single to Ohtani and a single to Betts. Gets a line out from Freeman, grand slam for Teoscar Hernandez to straightaway center. And boom, just like that, it's a one-run game. Yeah, the third inning was not great for Michael King. No doubt about it. But what he did after that, you could argue, I think, was part of the biggest sequence in this game. After the grand slam, he gets Muncy and Smith, inning over. Still the Padres in front 6-5. Then a 1-2-3 fourth against the bottom third of the LA lineup. A 1-2-3 top of the fifth inning against Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. His day was done. He settled it down and really set the stage for the Padres bullpen to then come in and do what they did, which was outstanding work, 4 scoreless innings. So, look, was this a perfect outing for Michael King? No, it was not. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. But this is the postseason. Look, it's not all about the final line. Like, throw the final lines out the window on some days. This is about winning the baseball game. And Michael King settled this thing down by getting out of the third, 1-2-3 fourth, 1-2-3 fifth. He settled it down. And I'll tell you what, when he came out of the game, I thought no way this game was ending 6-5, and it did. And it did. And part of that is because of Michael King and the way he was able to rebound after that grand slam. Let's go downstairs inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's hear from tonight's starting pitcher and tonight's winner, Michael King.
How strongly you finished after that, because you're not that guy, but like this is the playoffs and all that matters is winning. Like, how big were those 3 innings for you?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Pays to have a good offense. Hung a pitch to a really good hitter, which sucks, but bullpen was incredible, and just a W is a W.
This is the kind of thing you guys were talking about around the trade deadline. It's like, we just got this bullpen for this. Like, to have it work out like that tonight, what was that like?
Yeah, we talked about it basically for the whole second half. If you could leave the game with a lead, you almost knew it was going to be locked down. And if you did give up runs early, to keep it right there was a huge thing for us, because we know that our bullpen's going to put up zeros and we can come back. So it was very impressive to watch them go those last 4 innings.
And a close seat to Tatis during the regular season. What is it like to see this version of him in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's locked in right now. That's a scary at-bat, and I'm very happy I don't have to face him every day.
Did you know that was a home? Did you know that was a home run at the time? Did Wade Profar played it, or did you think that maybe he caught it?
Tatis?
I'm sorry, on Mookie.
Definitely thought there was a chance because of how he acted in the last one. I didn't know in LA if he caught it or not, so I was holding on to hope. But he told me it touched his glove and he was really close, so it would have been cool, but tough.
What did you think when you saw? Did you notice Mookie behind you?
Yeah, I saw Mookie cutting in front of me, thinking that he was out. I think the other one, he thought it was a home run, so he was rounding some bases. So I don't know if he just didn't want to get caught twice, thinking it was a home run. But, Profar's been playing great out there, and I was very hopeful that he had that in his glove.
Michael, so much drama leading into this game. How do you guys kind of block that out and go out and play this game when you guys get set for it?
I think that, obviously, they're an opponent that we played tough the whole year, but also the crowd's been just as crazy throughout the whole year. So it's something that we've been used to. I think that those close games have been easier for us to manage just because of the atmosphere that we've been playing in throughout the whole year.
That was Michael King inside the Padres clubhouse after this 6-5 win. Again, the final line for King tonight, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 hits, struck out 3 walks, won 77 pitches. But again, to me, it's not about the final line. Yeah, he gave up the grand slam to make it a 1-run game. But the way he settled it down, that was equally as important as the grand slam was for the Dodgers. I really believe that here tonight. It's the postseason. This is not about final lines. It's just not. And Michael King had a great final line, an outstanding final line in that wild card start. 7 scoreless innings, 12 strikeouts. The way he settled in to finish that third and into the fourth and into the fifth, that's a real important part and stretch of this game. Let's step aside. When we come back, we have more post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse, potentially inside the interview room here at Petco Park as well. We'll get into some of our daily awards, and so we'll take your phone calls as well. 833-288-0973, the phone number, 833-288-0973, the number to call as the Padres win Game 3 of this NLDS. They are now 1 win away from booking a trip to the National League Championship Series. Would be their second trip to the NLCS in the last 3 seasons, but hey, first things first, a win here tonight, and then we'll eventually look ahead to Game 4, tell you what you need to know about Game 4. What you need to know right now is Dylan Cease will pitch on 3 days rest for the Padres tomorrow here at Petco Park. Padres win Game 3 of this NLDS 6-5 against the LA Dodgers. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our post-game coverage continues here on the Padres Radio Network as we wrap up this 6-5 win for the Padres against the LA Dodgers. Game 3 of the NLDS. The Padres take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 series. The Padres now an opportunity to win this series tomorrow, not allow this series to head back to Los Angeles, and we'll see if they can do it tomorrow with right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound. We just learned that from Mike Shildt. He will pitch on 3 days rest tomorrow after throwing 82 pitches in his start for Game 1 on Saturday. So we'll see how Dylan Cease does tomorrow, but we got plenty of time to talk about tomorrow's game and all day tomorrow here on the station and certainly on the pregame tomorrow as well. But right now we're wrapping up this 6-5 win, and what a win it was. A very important win, obviously, Game 3, with the series tied at 1, and so many different things to talk about. The 6-run second inning, we've detailed that at great length, what the Padres did in that 6-run second. We'll talk more about it, what Michael King did, even after the grand slam, settling down this game, then handing things to the bullpen. I mean, it really is amazing, and I want to pull up this note here that I saw on Twitter because it really does illustrate how impressive what the Padres did tonight was out of the bullpen. I probably should have looked this up before we went back on the air. Here it is. So the Padres, after that grand slam from Hernandez, we talked about the way Michael King settled down this game. He retired the final 8 batters of his outing, the final 2 outs of the third after the grand slam, and then a 1-2-3 fourth, a 1-2-3 fifth. Then Estrada comes out, strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 sixth inning. Jason Adam strikes out the final batter of a 1-2-3 seventh inning. At that point, it's 14 in a row retired by Padres pitching. Then in the eighth inning, Ohtani strikes out against Scott. Betts flies out the center. That's 16 in a row. How about this, though? This is from OptaStats on Twitter. They put out some great stuff. The Padres retiring 16 consecutive Dodger hitters following Teoscar Hernandez's grand slam. The most consecutive batters retired in a game immediately after giving up a grand slam in MLB postseason history. It's a cool note. I don't know that it's all that surprising because, I mean, it's rare to sit down 16 in a row to begin with, and then you got to get the very specific part of it coming after a grand slam. But again, it does just illustrate how good King was after that grand slam and how good this bullpen was tonight. I mean, they were just excellent. I mean, Robert Suarez gave up one hit, the 2-out single for Freeman in the eighth inning. That was the only base runner the Dodgers had on after that grand slam. If you want to look at this from the Dodger perspective tonight, I got to imagine they're sitting there in that clubhouse, and the Dodgers postgame show right now is talking about how on earth did the Dodgers have one base runner after that grand slam that came with 1 out in the third. They had one base runner the rest of the night. I mean, that is just hard to believe with this lineup in this offense, but that's a credit to the Padres pitching staff. What a job. Again, I said it before. After the third inning, if you would have told me that this game would end 6-5, I would have said you're nuts. I would have said, no way. No way this game is ending 6-5, and it did. Unbelievable work by the Padres bullpen. We'll go back inside the clubhouse, hear from a number of Padres players in just a moment. First, let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on the game?
That is swung on, line into left field, Profar charging, dives forward, and he makes the catch.
Let's take a listen to the catch of the game, presented by the Fish Market San Diego Bayfront. Before or after the game, enjoy their fresh catch of the day. Fresh local seafood is always on the hook at the Fish Market, located at 750 North Harbor Drive.
1 out, nobody on. 1-run lead for the Pods. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Betts swings, hard hit liner. One hop, stopped by Bogaerts on the backhand. Gets up, throws to first in time. 2 away. And Xander Bogaerts just took a hit away from his old teammate.
Really nice play by Xander Bogaerts. It came in the 5th inning to get the second out of that frame against a critical part of the order. That was with Michael King on the mound. Nice play by Xander, taking a base hit away from his former Red Sox teammate, Mookie Betts. Great play by Xander. That's our catch of the game here tonight in this 6-5 win in Game 3 of this NLDS. Okay, let's go back inside the Padres clubhouse. We're going to run through a number of different players here. You'll hear from them what they had to say after this win. Let's begin with Manny Machado, who certainly coming into this game had been a topic of conversation for the throw that went towards the Dodgers dugout on Sunday that Dave Roberts claimed there was intent behind. You probably have heard about all that. It was the subject of conversation around here for the 24 hours entering today's game. Mike Shildt, I thought, had a great response to it before today's game, defending Manny Machado. And if you missed it, you can find it on our social media. Again, we played it pregame, and we played it a number of times on the station throughout the day. But I thought the Padres handled that situation after what Dave Roberts said yesterday. I thought they handled it really, really well. And here tonight, the Padres win Game 3. They are now in control of this series. Let's go downstairs inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's hear from Manny.
Yeah, I'm good. Just cramped.
The base running you have in the second inning, kind of changing lanes there. Can you take us through that heads-up baseball play there and then really affecting that inning?
Yeah, I mean, just knowing the rules. We've been practicing that all spring training, and finally it came up in a big situation there. So, we were able to create our own lane once the path is, created by the base runner. So, ground ball to Freddie, just trying to make a tough throw for him going to second base. And this is the first time it's ever happened to me. So.
Were you surprised that all the offense was there early on in the game and then pitching just ruled from there on out?
Yeah, man, it's postseason. You settle in, and we had a big inning, and they came back and they answered real quick. I mean, it's going to be a grind. It's been a grind.
I'm not sure if you noticed there was a lot of noise around this team today. How do you think you guys did in terms of just kind of drowning that out and moving on?
Yeah, I mean, came out victorious, came out, competed. Michael came out there, did his job. We came out there as an offense, did what we needed to do. We took care of business tonight, and yeah, I mean, the job's not finished. We got one more game tomorrow. It's not going to be easy, so we got to get focused and get ready to play tomorrow.
Fernando said from the beginning that he was meant for this stage. What is it to see what he's been doing during the playoffs?
It's been awesome, man. I mean, I think I've seen him enough to know he shines when he needs to, and what he's doing at the plate right now has been unbelievable. On the paths, even in the outfield, making some hell of a place for us. So, yeah, I mean, he doesn't shy away from the moment, and he rises above it.
What does that say? What does it say about this team that can claw and grit in such a tight game like today?
Yeah, I mean, it's been all year. It's been all year. We've had some comeback wins and some impressive wins as well. So it's baseball's a grind. Baseball's a grind, and we're going to continue to grind, and we got to grind out 27 miles tomorrow.
That was Manny Machado after the 6-5 win for the Padres in Game 3 of the NLDS. Before we continue to hear from Padres players inside the clubhouse, let's just talk about what was a critical play in this game. We haven't really discussed it much. The 6-run second inning, Machado singles against Buehler to begin that inning. It's a 1-0 Dodger lead at that point. Then Jackson Merrill hits a ground ball to the right side. Freddie Freeman, it's not an easy play for Freddie, and especially he's on the bad ankle. He has to backhand it. He goes down to his knees to go get the baseball and then throws towards second base. Now, Manny Machado, very deliberately, you could see it on the replay, veered in towards the infield grass and made it a hard throw for Freddie Freeman. Made it a very tough play. You can see Manny redirect there. From what I understand, a legal play. He's establishing his own lane there. And that's allowed. Now, I didn't see every explanation on the TV broadcast and what the Twitter experts have out there. To me, that is a legal play that Manny had by establishing that lane and making it really difficult on Freddie Freeman. And you heard Mike Shildt talk about it postgame there as well. It was, to me, a smart baseball play on Manny Machado's part. And look, you want to get into the real details of that second inning. Let's live in a world where they do get the force out at second base. Well, Xander Bogaerts comes up next, hits a ground ball. I mean, that could have been, it ended up being a fielder's choice that they got nobody out on and a run scored to tie the game at 1. But let's say it's, whatever. Xander hits a ground ball, they do get a force out, whatever it might be. Who knows what that inning is if instead of runners on first and third, nobody out, it's a runner on first base with 1 out. That's a totally different inning. So, look, that play by Manny on the base paths, which to my understanding is legal, that play by Manny, I mean, that kind of sparked the whole inning. And then you have the Bogaerts fielder's choice, they get nobody. RBI for Xander, run comes in, Peralta RBI double, 3-1. The Higgy sac fly, 4-1 later in the inning. The Tatis home run to make it a 6-1 game. I mean, look, that was a critical moment for Manny and also an error on Freeman. I mean, if Freeman finds a way to make that throw and get a force out, it could have totally ended up being a very different inning. Let's continue with the post-game reaction here. We got Frank Marchese back in the studio doing a great job. Let's hear from Tanner Scott right now. Scott came in, remember, 8th inning. It's a 1-run game, 6-5. He had to face Ohtani, struck him out. Betts flew out, gave up the single to Freeman, then a right button pushed by Mike Shildt. He goes to Robert Suarez, gets a pop out from Hernandez. Suarez comes back out, gets a 1-2-3 9th inning to shut the door on this win. But those 2 outs of Ohtani and Betts, hey, in a 1-run game, that's huge. By Tanner Scott. So let's go back inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's hear from the left-handed reliever, Tanner Scott.
4 outs.
That guy's pretty good. That guy's pretty good. I got to meet him earlier this year, and then now that I'm with him, he's pretty unreal. He's got some really good stuff.
The pressure of being a closer, then doing the 4 outs, the postseason, the Dodgers, Just how impressive what he was able to do tonight.
I mean, every outing he's out there, he's impressive. I mean, that guy's really good. And I mean, he's our closer, and he's nails.
You mixed it up on Ohtani a little bit to get your 4th strikeout and 5 at-bats against him in the last 2 weeks.
I'm just trying to get the guy out. I don't even look at it. I mean, he's a good hitter, and I'm just glad I got him out.
What do you make of Robert's demeanor? He's a pretty laid-back guy, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he's a quiet guy, and I mean, he's a great person when you get to know him, and I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Tanner Scott right after this game. Again, big 2 outs for Tanner Scott. Gave up the single to Freeman, but his teammate Robert Suarez picked him up. Let's continue to hear from Padres players. Let's hear from Xander Bogaerts, the X-Man in the clubhouse after tonight's 6-5 win in Game 3 of this NLDS as the Padres take a 2-1 series lead. And let's go downstairs, hear from Xander.
This is big. I can tell you this is big. This place, it got loud, man, and I told you, sometimes the bullpen or pitching, they can have a bad day too, and today they bounce back. I mean, one of our biggest strengths on our team is our pitching and our bullpen, and King grinded, and the bullpen kept that game right there, and I mean, it's an unbelievable job.
Take us through that second inning, just the batting around and being able to take advantage of the errors, and take us through that second inning.
Probably had to test my hammy out. That's probably what I wanted to do on that ground ball. So everything's good, and what a game, man. I mean, 6-1, Teoscar, great swing, 6-5, and it stays that way. Probably no one thought it would have stayed that way after all that offense.
There's a lot of noise today leading into this game. What did the team talk about? How did you guys settle yourselves down with all that going on?
What's great is we know who we are, and we know what we're capable of, and I keep saying it all the time. We don't have to depend on one person, I mean, obviously Fernando is kind of putting it on his back right now, and that's something special to witness, to see, and but it's not always got to be him, and we have so much other guys that's capable of doing it, and tonight we got to, Peraza, he was on the bench the first couple playoff games, and big homer the game before, and now a big 2-run double. I mean, it's Jacob. I mean, Jacob was due, so happy for him too.
Xander, all season long you guys talked about passing the baton in this lineup. That's what you looked like you did in the second inning. Can you speak to that?
I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to Jackson there, making that run right there, beating that throw, me hustling down the line. I mean, listen, this is playoff, and it matters more, and we know coming home how excited everyone was, just trying to get guys on base and leave the job to the next batter up,
That was Xander Bogaerts right after this 6-5 win for the Padres against the LA Dodgers. And before we go to break, I'll just wrap up one final thought for you in this segment. Look, tonight was sort of the way they've won a lot of nights in the second half. It wasn't about one guy. It was, as cliche as it sounds, a full team effort. It was. I mean, you had the stars in Fernando having big moments. You had Manny making, starting that inning with a rally in the second, starting that inning with a single to spark that 6-run rally in the second. Had what was a smart base running play. David Peralta, another big swing, 2-run double. He had Higgy with a sac fly. He had Michael King gutting his way through 5 innings, settling in after the grand slam, and then each one of these relievers was terrific tonight. So, again, full team effort, and all the pieces of this team, they've played a role in what they've been in 2024, and that rang true once again tonight. Let's step aside. When we return, we will tell you about the other National League Division Series that played their Game 3 today. We'll also tell you about our player of the game. And we'll take your phone calls. We'll squeeze in a few before we go. 833-288-0973. If you were in the building tonight, would love to hear from you. Nearly 48,000 here tonight. A new Petco Park record. Would love to hear from you. We'll squeeze in some phone calls before we go. If you want to tweet at me, Instagram, DM me, Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Again, SAMMYLEV on both those platforms. You can do that there. You can comment on YouTube. May address some of your tweets, DMs, YouTube comments, your phone calls. When we return, we'll mix in the out-of-town scoreboard, the one game that went on today, and to the player of the game as well. As the Padres win Game 3 of this NLDS 6-5, we return to Petco Park after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres win Game 3 of this NLDS 6-5. We continue our post-game coverage. We have already done a lot. We've heard from a number of different Padres players. We've heard from Mike Shildt. We've had the radio highlights. We've, I think, discussed pretty much every aspect of this game. I do want to bring up one more thing before we get to your phone calls at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. You know, the other thing for the Dodgers tonight that wasn't good, their offense wasn't good. Now, they scored 5 runs, but it came on one swing. Well, 4 of the runs came on one swing. And then the Dodgers had 1 hit and 1 base runner after there was 1 out in the third. Like, that's got to be frustrating if you're a Dodger fan tonight. I mean, for this offense to be down by 1 for that long and not be able to muster up something, and look, that's credit to the Padres bullpen, but this Dodger team is supposed to be able to score. So that's got to be frustrating. The other thing that's frustrating about that 6-run second, we talked about Manny's base running play, Freeman the throwing error. The Bogarts fielder's choice that tied the game at 1. You know, I was looking at the replay during the break. I don't know why Rojas didn't flip the ball to Lux to get the force out. He decided to take the ball to second base himself, and as a result, not only did he not get the force at second, Merrill beat him there, then he didn't get the out at first base either, so they got nothing. And at that point, it's a 1-1 game, runners on first and second with nobody out, and then Peralta has the double, the 2-run double, and just like that, in a span of 4 batters, it goes from 1-0 Dodgers to 3-1 Padres. I was looking at that replay. I have no idea why Rojas didn't flip that ball to Lux. I mean, you got to get an out there, and they got nothing. I was watching that. That is, man, they made some mistakes tonight, the Dodgers, that really cost them, and then obviously the offense didn't help either. All right, we'll take a look at the other National League Division Series before we go. We'll tell you about our player of the game. But I do want to get a couple of your phone calls in, 833-288-0973. Let's begin things here tonight. We go to OB. It's our friend Gonzo calling in. Gonzo, you lead us off tonight. Padres post-game show, NLDS Game 3 edition. Go ahead.
Sammy, my boy, I made it home safe. My goodness, that was an outrageous game. Probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. How did you make it through, brother?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't think the score was going to be 6-5 at the end of the night. I kept saying to myself, they better get some more runs. I don't think 6 is going to be enough, and that's not a knock on the Padres bullpen. I guess it's more a compliment to the Dodger offense, but it just felt like, you know, there's no way this is actually going to end 6-5, but it did, and that's a credit to the Padres.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right with that one swing. It was one swing, and you know what happened? We got under their skin. They panic, and we are here to win. They are playing for Peter. They're playing for the faithful. They are playing for us. We got their back. They got ours. It was an incredible moment. We just saw them crumble out of panic.
Yeah. Well, Gonzo, look. Yeah, Gonzo, look, and appreciate the phone call. Look, this series is a long way from over. Okay, if the Dodgers win tomorrow, then it's a winner-take-all Game 5 in L.A. on Friday. It is a long way from over. Do not get ahead of yourselves if you're out there, Padres fans. Don't. It's a best-of-5 series. All it takes is the Dodgers to have a big inning like the Padres did tonight, you know, and this series, the momentum can shift. So this was a great win, but focus on one game at a time is my advice. Focus on the task at hand. This series is not over. It's a short series. It's only 5 games. You lose tomorrow, guess what? You're going back to L.A. And what the Padres did in 22, they did not allow the series to get back to L.A., and it feels like pitching Dylan Cease tomorrow is kind of that same line of thinking of, hey, we don't want this to go back to L.A. It's an aggressive move to have Cease on 3 days rest tomorrow. And so we'll see how it all works out tomorrow. But Gonzo, yeah, I mean, the bullpen was great. And, you know, I don't know what it was about the Dodger offense. I mean, you look at it, aside from the grand slam, what has this Dodger offense done? In the last 2 games of this series, they scored 2 runs last night. One of it was when it was already 10-1 in the 9th inning. You know, and then they score the grand slam tonight to make it 6-5. They had 1 hit, 1 base runner the rest of the way. So, yeah, if you're a Dodger fan, and I'm sure that's not who's listening to us right now, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're tight. If they're feeling it, maybe, I don't know. But this series is not over. Padres are in a great spot. The series is not over. So just stay focused on the task at hand. Let's go to Bob. Bob, you're on the Padres postgame show with Sam Levitt. Go ahead.
Hey, Sam. Yeah, I think you're right on with the flip play. I mean, 999 times out of 1,000, a shortstop's going to flip that ball and get that force at second. So that was a huge brain fart, which really helped us a lot, obviously. The reason I'm calling is there's three things that bothered me as we came to Game 3. Number one, Jake Cronenworth looked like he was a little kind of backwards, didn't know what a strike was. He's a little off. And that base hit he got today over the shortstop's head, I think was huge. That gets him back in the strike zone. That gets him back in the Crone zone. That gets him back into the game as a threat. Number two, Robert Suarez. Everyone knows when he gave up that grand slam home run and lost that game, he's been a little bit off as well, right? So tonight was really, really important for him. He was dominant. He was aggressive. He was confident. I really feel like that has really squared its way up. The third thing that bothered me has still not been straightened out, and that is Jurickson Profar. He's a little bit off. He's popping up a lot of stuff. He's kind of off. I don't know what he needs to do to get himself back into the zone again, but that's okay though. 2 out of 3, right? Cronenworth, Suarez, and Profar. 2 out of the 3, I think, are straightened out. I think we're looking pretty good for Game 4.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And look, and Bob, appreciate the phone call. It's been a quiet postseason so far for Profar. Had an infield single tonight. Profar had a bunt single in Game 2. Had a couple of walks, and, he's been on base. He hasn't, you're right, had been super impactful with the bat. But look, that's going to get covered up when Tatis is playing the way he's playing, when Manny, for the most part, is playing the way he's playing, when guys like Peralta and Higgy are contributing. Look, they can get by without Profar being like one of the guys. They can. It would be great if he could get it going offensively, but look, out of those three things, well, Cronenworth getting it going is good too. Look, I think the Suarez thing, out of those three things you listed there, Bob, Suarez to me is like the most important thing. To see what Robert did tonight in that kind of spot, 4-out save, 4 up, 4 down in a 1-run game, that's big. That's really big to see him do that tonight. I mean, look, I wouldn't have blamed you if when he came out of the bullpen tonight, you thought to yourself, okay, here we go. This is the real test of all tests to see if what we saw the last couple of months, if that was something we really had to worry about, or if Robert is going to be okay here. And at least tonight, he was great. That was big tonight. That was big for the Padres. That was big for Robert Suarez. That was really important tonight. Let's go to La Mesa. It's Brandon on the Padres postgame show. Brandon, go ahead.
What's up, Sammy? Oh, my gosh, we're so excited. My buddy Michael and I went up to the Front Wave Arena tonight to watch the Clippers play the Nets. I won them actually on Annie Nelson a few days ago, but I was like, dude,
Nice.
it's during the Padres game. But we were able to watch it and listen to Sammy on the way there. The ride to Oceanside from downtown's pretty far. We listened to the whole 6 to 5 craziness, and I said, watch, it's going to end 6-5. We went into the arena. We got to watch on our phone inning by inning, and it inched closer and closer to it. Adam, Scott, Suarez just shutting them down.
Yep.
And the whole area we were watching it just went crazy afterward. It was so amazing. I'm so excited. I'm going tomorrow. I'm sorry for missing a call a couple nights ago. I appreciate you taking it.
No, you're good, Brandon. You're good. All good, Brandon. Thank you for the phone call. Look, as this game's going on, I'll tell you what, and I was discussing it with our friend Adam Klug, who is next to me in the press box tonight as we're watching this game, and Adam can vouch for me on this. You're looking at it in the 6th inning. They're up by 1. Estrada comes in. He looked great. Gets Hernandez, Muncy, and Smith. Then you're seeing the formula. You saw it when Estrada came in, and he had the 1-2-3 inning. Because then you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, you got Adam for the bottom third of the lineup because they want Scott to face Ohtani and Freeman at the top. So Adam comes in 1-2-3 inning. Perfect. That gets you Scott for Ohtani. Strikes him out. Great. Betts. Fly out. Great. Single to Freeman. Okay. You go to Suarez for the 4-out save, and it was just unbelievably well executed. I mean, from a bullpen standpoint, it lined up exactly how the Padres would have wanted it, and a credit to those guys. They executed. All right, let's take one more phone call here. Let's go to Renee, Spring Valley. Renee, you're on the Padres postgame show. Renee, what you got?
Hey, Sammy, thank you for taking my call. Yes, it's so exciting. Again, it's hard to mention anything that people have already said about all of it, but the enthusiasm. But, man, once again, I think the theme with you and I have always been the team picks somebody up. When somebody is not doing good and somebody else picks them up, and once again, when the home run, the grand slam that they hit with, and I said out loud, I spoke it, and I texted it, and I said, we are not giving up the lead tonight. And we did not. Not that I had anything to do with it, Sammy.
Yeah.
But, I just had that feeling. And, this team is incredible. And tomorrow, I think we already got the hammers, and we're going to start nailing things into wood tomorrow because
I hope
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Sammy.
I hope. Yeah, Renee, good phone call. Appreciate it. You hope. Look, going with Dylan Cease tomorrow is an aggressive play. It's fine. It's fine. If he's ready to go, cool. You would still have Darvish for a Game 5, which is why I'm okay with it. Darvish on regular rest for a Game 5. I'm okay with it. If Cease is ready to go on 3 days rest, that's fine. Then throw him out there, even if he's not going to go, 7 innings. But if you can use him and at least get some good innings out of him to start, I don't know, maybe he's going to be more of like a short outing tomorrow, then you hand it to the bullpen if you have a lead. Maybe that's what they're thinking. We'll see how it plays out tomorrow. But here tonight, yeah, this bullpen, it lined up really well, and they just executed. They really executed. All right, let's knock out a couple of things here before we wrap things up, get you ready for Game 4. Let's tell you about the one other game that went on today in the other National League Division Series.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at the other Game 3 that went on today. That was the Mets and the Phillies in New York. That series starting today tied at 1. Well, the Mets won it 7-2. Sean Manaea, former Padres, had a great season. Look, let's just be honest about it. Manaea's been a better Met than he was a Padre. He was really good in the regular season, especially in the second half. And, man, he was great today. 7 innings, 1 earned run given up, 3 hits. He struck out 6. That was really just the start of the story for the Mets today. Pete Alonso, a home run. Jesse Winker, a home run. Starling Marte had a big 2-run single to make it 4-0. Padres had a 6-0. Mets had a 6-0 lead in this game after 7. Phillies got a couple of runs late to make it 6-2. Mets made it 7-2. They win by that final score. So now, what it sets up is the potential for the Mets to win that series tomorrow. Padres obviously could win their series tomorrow. Tell you what, it's a great day of baseball tomorrow, it really is. All 4 division series will be in action. Game 3 in Detroit between the Guardians and the Tigers. Game 4 in New York between the Phillies and the Mets. The Yankees and the Royals in Kansas City. Game 3 at 4:08 p.m. And then the nightcap is here in San Diego for Game 4, with the Padres having an opportunity to win this NLDS. That's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. What's going on the rest of the postseason series, what happened today in New York. Hey, we have the potential of, you could know by this time tomorrow night, not only that the Padres are moving on, but who they're playing if the Mets were to win tomorrow. But like I said, you got to take it a day at a time. Don't lose focus. The Mets could lose tomorrow, and I'm not wishing this into existence. That if the Padres don't win tomorrow, then you're going to L.A. for Game 5. So every game of a 5-game series is really important. It can change really, really quick. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll preview tomorrow's game in just a moment. Let's talk about tonight's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
3-2. Suarez delivers. Luck swings and misses. Strike three. Suarez and the Padres have beat LA, and they take a 2-1 lead in the National League Division Series.
Our player of the game tonight, I'm giving it to Robert Suarez. Giving it to Robert. He was great. 4 up, 4 down, 4-out save, 1-run game against this LA lineup. To me, it is Robert Suarez. It almost had to be a reliever tonight with what this bullpen did. 4 scoreless innings. 1 hit allowed. They struck out a grand total of 6. They faced 1 batter over the minimum in their innings. I mean, this is the amazing part about this game tonight. The Padres, after there was 1 out in the 3rd, after the grand slam from Hernandez, let's just count it up to end the night here. They retired 16 in a row until there were 2 outs in the 8th inning. So 16 in a row, then a 2-out single against Scott off the bat of Freddie Freeman. So 16 in a row, then that at bat is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. The Padres ended this game by recording or retiring 20 of the final 21 batters in this game. I mean, think about the job that King and the bullpen did tonight. They retired 20 out of the final 21 batters. I'm right about that, right? Because that would be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 20 out of the final 21 batters they retired tonight in a 1-run game. I mean, what a job. What a job by this bullpen. So Robert Suarez, our player of the game, had to be him that closed this thing out tonight. Just terrific, terrific work for Robert Suarez here tonight. I got one more note here. The great Frank Marchese back in the studio texting me this. Frank does a good job making sure I see everything on the social medias while I'm on air. Frank, well, not Frank saying, but OptiStats tweeting out here, tonight the Padres gave up a grand slam, only scored in 1 inning, didn't score after the 2nd inning. No other team in MLB history has done all of that and yet still won the game, regular or postseason. So what did they do? They gave up a grand slam. They only scored in 1 inning, and they didn't score after the 2nd. They're the only team. It seems like every night there's these stats right now in the postseason with this team. They're the only team in Major League history to do those 3 things and win the game in the regular postseason ever. Oh, man. This team, man. See if they can finish the job tomorrow in this NLDS. But they have been entertaining. They've been a lot of fun. And really, really, really good win here tonight as they take command of this series. And they take a 2-1 lead in this best of 5. All right, so what lies ahead tomorrow? Well, we know who the starting pitcher for the Padres will be. It'll be right-hander Dylan Cease, pitching on 3 days rest tomorrow. As far as the Dodgers, Dave Roberts said after the game it'll be a bullpen day, which is not surprising for the Dodgers tomorrow. They've not announced a starting pitcher yet, so we know it's going to be some version of their bullpen tomorrow, which is good because you know you're going to have to make their bullpen work. On the other hand, they got a good pen. So, interesting matchup tomorrow. Cease on 3 days rest. We do not have an announced starter for the Dodgers, but their manager, Dave Roberts, did say it'll be a bullpen day tomorrow. As far as the time tomorrow, you got to pay attention to these things in the postseason because it's all over the place. 6:08 p.m. first pitch tomorrow. Same as tonight. Our pregame coverage from here inside the Western Metal Building will begin at 5:08, and I can't wait to talk to you then as we get you ready for Game 4 of this National League Division Series. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game show, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and find any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. Taking a look at the final totals here in Game 3 as the Padres take a 2-1 lead in this National League Division Series. For the Padres, 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left on 3. For LA, 5 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. They left on 2. Winning pitcher Michael King, who improves to 2-0 in the postseason. Losing pitcher Walker Buehler, who drops to 0-1. And the save goes to Robert Suarez. 4 up, 4 down, a 4-out save, his second of this postseason. Time of game, 2 hours and 34 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park tonight for Game 3. The biggest crowd in Petco Park history, 47,744 in attendance here tonight in downtown San Diego. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:08 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:08. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score in Game 3 of the National League Division Series as the Padres take command, a 2-1 lead now. The San Diego Padres 6 and Los Angeles Dodgers 5. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network.